everybody. Hello, it is Natasha Lynn Lendorf coming to you live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I am shaking in my boots, let me tell you. I hope that you can bear with me as we go through this because I can tell you that I am extremely nervous to tell you what I'm just about to do. And I would love if you go ahead and share this out. If you have any questions, drop them in here. I am going to be doing something that is brand new, that is 7 years in the making. So I might replicate some of that information as I hit this plus button. But if anybody can share this out to the BTE chats or to the Keto by Design chat, I would appreciate that. Share this to your friends if you find it helpful, but I'll also give you some more valuable tips at the end as well. So I'm actually pretty new to streaming on my computer, which is kind of confusing to tell you the truth. Not loving it. Anyways, let's get started. As you hop on, if you're catching me live, go ahead and put one in the comments. And if you are catching me as a replay, go ahead and hit two in the comments. Instagram is not working for some reason. Let's try this again. Yeah, talk about funny things going on. So, then let me know where you're coming in from. Hey, Jennifer. Hey, Heidi. Hey, Tina. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate you all. Instagram, you are working finally. So, as you hop on, go ahead and let me know where you're coming in from. So, I'm announcing something very exciting, and I'm going to hit the button now. So, today is going to be the day of my first podcast, and I'm not doing anything fancy, nothing special. You actually won't be able to even access the podcast until it gets accepted because I literally was meditating this morning and all of the signs were lining up. All of the signs were telling me that I needed to do this podcast. And I've been wanting to do a podcast to help other people for so many years now. 7 years, actually. I've been thinking, well, I should share my knowledge because I have knowledge in the wealth, the business industry, overcoming obstacles, all of the nutritional, all of that goodness. And my story really kind of backs that. And so I decided that today would be my day because there was no ignoring it. There was absolutely no ignoring it. And to be honest, when your nerves are shaking like that, the signs appear and you know that it's needed. This is what you need to do. So I'm facing my fear. So I'm here announcing that I'm launching my podcast, Live Life by Design. Live Life by Design is all going to be about helping you thrive and live an abundant life regardless of your health, wealth, or circumstances. And so we're going to focus on mindset, wellness, business, and anything else that you ask of me. We'll see how it kind of, comes from there. And so I figured why not live stream this? Even though it's new to me and I'm very, very nervous about it, it's going to be very raw because I'm an artist and I'm also a recovering perfectionist. So if I don't do this live, if I don't do this raw, I'm not going to do it. And so we're going to go with that. So right now, there is no opening for it. I literally just created the graphic to put up on the podcast. But my mission is to empower as many people as I can. I've been trying to do that through Instagram and Facebook. And as of recently, I haven't been on as active as I normally would be because of my hands, which we'll get to that. But I figured, podcasting would be the perfect way to reach the audience as I jump on. And so, for anybody who is listening to this podcast, we are live streaming on Facebook and on Instagram. Hey, Terry. Hey, Rachel. I appreciate you guys jumping on here. Go ahead, ask any questions that you want, drop me some love. In this first episode, you're going to get to know me, my illnesses, my talents, and the unique path that actually opened the way that I can serve and hopefully bring value to the people that listen. Um, my mission is really to empower as many people. I want people to thrive, whether they have chronic disease, such as I, or if they've experienced trauma, abuse, even a lack of education, money, or debt that they've had. And I want to help change their trajectory of their course in their life, because we all can live an abundant life and we can all thrive regardless of our challenges and our obstacles. And I do believe that. So if we open our minds, beliefs, and eyes, there's a way to live the life we want by designing it. Yes, it does take work. It's going to take some mindset work. It's going to take some habit building. It's going to force you to face some fears. It's going to make sure that you release some toxins, toxic people, toxic relationships. Hey, Kim, thanks for jumping on. Hey, Candace, I love seeing your faces on here. So first of all, once the podcast does get uploaded, Live Life by Design, it's Live Life X Design, all one word. I would appreciate it if you go and subscribe and leave a review once it gets published in the next few days. I know that it's a little inconvenient right now being the first episode and not having it published, but if you remember to do that, I would appreciate it. And go ahead and share it out with your friends. And if you do share it out, go ahead and comment shared on Facebook or on Instagram so I know. And I'll actually include my handles and my email, Facebook, all of that information in the show notes if you want to access any of the info as well. So let's see where this takes us, shall we? So I am many things. Some of you know me very well, others not so much. And the one thing that I would say that I am is a creative and a problem solver. I love challenges and I love obstacles. I literally almost went into the military just because I wanted to take on challenges. I wanted to take on anything that I could. And so, um, you know, my background is actually in industrial design, or also known as product design, which incorporates marketing, product development, research and data analysis, observation, all these different things. And it's been incredibly important for me to pay attention and try to find solutions to things. So I originally started doing product design, and then I went into medical device design. So my background is in medical device design, which a lot of you know. And I'm a very creative person in terms of artistic ability. I love, finding the beauty in things, but I also love solving solutions, which is why I want to help people. And so, with that being said, I'm also an entrepreneur. I run a successful design and coaching business. I work within the health and wellness space. You might know me from having these little magic golden packets around and being a big promoter of those because they've changed my life. But I'm also a major advocate for chronic disease and illness. You'll hear a little bit of that story today and how my knowledge and experience can help those who need to hear it. So, how I struggled with I struggle with multiple autoimmune and neuromuscular diseases and pain for years. And I struggled with it for years before the diagnosis. And what that did was, it really started me on this line of biohacking and looking into my health and wealth, because up until 2009, I was very career focused. And even up until 2013, when I started biohacking, I was very career focused. I overworked myself. I was an overachiever and over accomplisher. And I really pushed myself with all-nighters and things like that. I was not nice to my body. I was a machine. I was I was a machine. I remember in college pulling, a 4 night all nighter. I stayed up for 4 nights straight. And yes, I did hallucinate. That does happen when you stay up that long because I'm pretty sure you're sleeping, but kind of going through the motions. But, anyways, um, so in 2009, I got into two car accidents within 1 week, not at fault of mine. And I started having some mystery illnesses that couldn't get diagnosed. So I went, it's the common scenario of going doctor to doctor to doctor, trying to figure out why I'm having seizures, why I'm having, you know, um, stroke like symptoms, why I'm passing out. All these different things were happening in my body, and I had no idea what was going on. So, of course, being the researcher that I am and the medical designer that I am, I actually did a ton of research. I kind of threw myself into it. And that is what led me up to figuring out how to take care of my body and how to help other people take care of their bodies as well. And, once you go into the medical route, you've got, functional medicine, which incorporates Western medicine with Eastern medicine, and you kind of integrate the whole body as a whole and treat it as a whole. Otherwise, you've got Western medicine, which is completely the opposite, which tries to do band-aids and cover-ups, trying to treat underlying causes and symptoms, but it really doesn't get rid of the problem. You've got naturopathic medicine, which is trying to treat it with natural herbal remedies. But I do a functional type, and it took me years to get to that point. I remember at one point trying to help myself, I didn't know where to turn. So I was spending $500 on supplements each month because I kept reading, this supplement is good for that. That supplement's good for this. And I had no idea about brands. And there's so much knowledge that I can share with you that I hope to bring to you, in the upcoming episodes. I've covered some of it in my lives in the past, but I hope to continue to bring that to you here, and beyond that. But finally, in 2013, I was diagnosed with lupus, SLE, systemic sclerosis. Now, my lupus is not discoid lupus, which is of the skin. I do have, I get the butterfly rash, I get rashes, I get vasculitis. I do get some skin symptoms, but it's really affecting more of the muscular and the skin, other organs, I should say. And then later on, I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome when I was younger, and scleroderma, myasthenia gravis. I'm trying to think, dysautonomia, which is also known as POTS, otherwise known as postural orthopedic thoracic syndrome. And so, I've got this, what they call an overlap syndrome because I have so many multiple autoimmune and neuromuscular diseases. And so, my journey really led me to, not only finding the doctors and being my own advocate, but finding the people that would support me and help me throughout this process to get to the healing part where I needed to be. So in 2013, I started a flare that lasted up until last year. I had maybe one good year in there, and then I had a 5 year flare where I was actually on steroids for 5 years, which brought me to these little packets actually because I had gained 80 pounds in 2 months. Just by trying one medication, switching medication around, because there were several attempts of changing medication. Now, with autoimmune and neuromuscular disease, this is very typical. So, if you live with a chronic illness or a chronic disease, or chronic pain like I do, go ahead and put it in the comments. Just say if you're on Facebook or on Instagram, because my heart goes out to you. And I really want to not only focus on helping you, teaching you what, and hopefully saving you, thousands of dollars that I wasted to get to the point where I am, but also, sharing that and supporting you as well. But with autoimmune, it's tricky with chronic pain conditions, autoimmune, neuromuscular diseases. We don't know that much about them still, and there aren't definitive diagnostic criteria for them. It's very tricky, and so typically the average person who has autoimmune disease takes about 10 years and more than, I think, six doctors, they say, to get a diagnosis. For me, it took me about 5 years, 6 years. And so a little bit less than the typical person. And so it's not easy to come across. Plus, you've got a whole host of other things that makes you more susceptible to it. So I will say that my lupus and my RA, my myasthenia gravis and scleroderma are all under control for the first time in over 5 to 7 years. I'm off of steroids. I finally went off the steroids in August for the first time in 5 years. I was taking them daily, and because of taking them daily, I wasn't necessarily gaining any more weight, but I was gaining a little bit at a time. And thankfully, just by drinking, product, I actually was able to lose 50 pounds, even on the steroids, which was a huge blessing to me. Oh, thank you so much, Kim. You are so sweet. And so autoimmune and neuromuscular diseases, any type of chronic diseases are hard to deal with. I am what my friend Frasier would call a zebra. And, that's a medical term for people that, kind of are, anatomy, words with Tasha, anomalies. There we go. And so, my heart goes out to anybody. So if you have any questions, if you have anything related to wellness that you want to know about, feel free to email me. My email is going to be on this podcast, but you can also message me through Facebook or Instagram. Um, I will say that for those that don't know me, I was recently hit in a car accident. It's been 1 year now. So last year, March 8th of last year, I got hit by a construction truck. The steroids were actually covering up the fact that I had spinal compression at 3 levels and needed a fusion. So it took a few months to get the surgery. So I had a 3 level cervical fusion back in August, which is why, being live on Facebook and Instagram and sending out messages and things like that are hard for me right now because I'm still healing from that fusion in August. It did help, and the fusion is doing great, but unfortunately, the structures above that and the vertebrae above that are also causing issues. Plus, there might be some permanent damage from the strain on my spinal cord. And so I do have a follow up with my surgeon tomorrow. I have some more tests coming up in the next month. I have an EMG, and then I also have a secondary spinal expert who is one of the top doctors in the country, actually, that has taken on my case. And right now, the decision is, can I bear with this for right now and keep an eye on how much damage is being caused to the arteries and the spinal cord, making sure that nothing's going to be permanent, or do I complete the fusion and do a full cervical fusion? And so if you notice, like when I drink water, my hands are shaky. I definitely have difficulty writing right now. And it's it's a little disheartening. I am a very positive person and I have a very positive mindset, but I will say that, hey Sarah, thanks for jumping on. I will say that I feel as if I'm a surgeon who has, had nerve damage in their hands because I'm a designer and an artist. So, my hands with the tremoring and the weakness and my inability to type, all of my creative abilities have been definitely downgraded. I can make do with it because I have patience. But I promise you that anybody else probably would be going insane. And I know that other people are struggling with that too. So, um, I'm trying to stay creative. I'm trying to stay on top of everything. I'm still, doing strengthening exercises and things like that. But it is what it is, and we have to make the best out of it. And that's what I want this podcast to be all about is, does it suck that I was hit 4 times in a car that was not my fault and I saw happening and I tried to prevent? Yeah, it does suck. It completely sucks. But that being said, there's nothing that I can do about it. All I can do, hey, Stace, hey, Beverly, thank you so much. Oh, yes, I did create the backgrounds. The lights, if you're on Facebook or on Instagram, the lights are actually from my wedding. And I made the flower wall with leftovers from my wedding as well. Hey, Melissa, thanks for jumping on. And so I really want this podcast to be talking about, overcoming obstacles and making decisions and taking actions that are going to put you in a positive momentum towards, aligning you with your passion and finally living out the dream that you want because you can design whatever your life is. So if you are complaining about, your job, if you're not in a great marriage, if you're not in a great friendship or a toxic relationship, and you're not taking action, nothing's going to change. You can overcome those challenges. Is it trauma? Yes, it definitely is traumatic. It takes hard work, but you can be strong enough. And I want to help strengthen that and empower you to actually start making that mindset change, start making those habit changes, getting rid of the toxic things, and making the most out of what we have in life. We don't have much time on this earth. And so we have to make the most of it. And there is a reason that these challenges have come into our life because they are opportunities. They are challenges that are challenges. They want us to overcome these challenges. So if you have a single challenge that keeps coming up in your life, as I have, with the car accidents, there is a reason that that is happening. There's a reason for that. I chose to take on these challenges because I love challenges. That came into my life. And you know what? Maybe I did manifest it because I love challenges. And at one point, I was broken, and I thought that, all these problems kept coming my way because I didn't have the positive mindset that I always had before. Hey, Mary. Oh, thank you so much, Melissa. And so I didn't always have this positive mindset. I had to work at it. I really had to, start doing meditation, start focusing on me, being selfish, defining what is good and what is bad in my life, what I needed to get rid of, what I needed to start doing. And you can start small. It doesn't have to be a huge change. But I will tell you that if you go through a divorce, that is chaos, right? So if we use divorce as an example, chaos is actually shattering your world so it can be reorganized and bring something better for you. It's going to bring something better. And so that's, just one example of why these challenges are so important in our life. So that is why today, when I kept hearing the signs that I need to do this podcast, the words kept coming through me. I'm lying there trying to meditate and, I'm trying to get these words out of my head and I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to relax my body because today is the day after my methotrexate injection and you never know if it's going to be a good day or a bad day, but today it was it wasn't a horrible day, but I was nauseous and I was tired and I didn't sleep well and I had muscle spasms from the injection. And so, yeah, sure, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I have to do this because what if this last car accident happened so that I could get my message out and help serve other people more? And I think that is what my calling is really to help serve people. So I started, it's kind of funny because I started in the medical device industry to help people. And my mission statement on my resume on LinkedIn was always to help enhance other people's lives through design. And I started that with small devices like handheld devices. I think the first thing that I ever had get patented was a sustainable um, cleaning system. And I was actually an intern when that happened. So I did all the patents for that, and I'm listed on the patent. And then I did a dog toy. And then I moved into the medical space, which was my dream. So I had my dream job. But in 2013, and that's why I say 7 years, this is 7 years in the making. 7 years ago, I switched a little bit before that into the medical device field, and my dream was already achieved. I had my dream job. But my dreams changed because I wanted to start helping other people. I wanted to make sure that they knew, that there's natural remedies that you can put out there. Simple things that you can just implement into your daily life will start making a huge impact in your life. And so, again, if you are catching this on Instagram or on Facebook Live, go ahead and drop one in the comments. And if you're catching me as a replay, go ahead and drop two in the comments. And let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know if you have any questions as we go through this. And thank you so much for bearing with me as my nerves are super high. Like I said, today is a rough day for me, given that I took my methotrexate last night. But I'm still showing up for you guys. And I figured this is one way that I can show up with, for you since I can't type that well, without, without not showing up, I guess. Nah, I don't know what I'm saying there. But anyways, um, the other thing that I wanted to talk about was really, what this podcast is going to bring value to for you. I do want to cover wellness. I want to cover training and coaching, self development, mindset work. I do want to go into, supplements. For example, for inflammation, I take curcumin, which is a very concentrated form of turmeric, which I was able to take for several years and then wean off of because I didn't need it and then take it as needed. I want to cover, what you can do for your body by implementing small changes. One of the things I do is I do a 60-hour fast every month. And so it is a supported fast. And I'm not saying that you have to start there, but I started with intermittent fasting. I started with bulletproof coffee, and that's really when I got into the biohacking. So I do want to cover a little bit of the biohacking part of everything as well. And, if you don't know who Dave Asprey is, but he was one of the first podcasters that I really started paying attention to back in 2013 when I started biohacking. And he's the one that actually coined the term biohacking. Him and Tim Ferriss are hilarious. So if you get a chance to watch them or listen to them, I would definitely recommend listening to them. In fact, he has a line of his own products. I do purchase some from him. I purchased the coconut charcoal from him, which works great for my husband. And I also want to cover, mental illness and just taking care of yourself. Thanks, Patricia. Hey, girl, thanks for catching me live. And, you know, it's funny. It's funny how the smallest change in your life can lead to something new. So, what I'm saying to you today might actually get you somewhere that you need to be tomorrow. It might just by be, by coincidence, but today the universe was telling me that people needed to hear this. People needed to hear this message. And so that's why I'm, really pouring my heart out here. Um, any questions? I'm trying to think of anything else that I want to cover in this. So we talked about biohacking. We talked about, how I do rebooting, intermittent fasting. I do a 14-day keto challenge, but I actually follow like an autoimmune protocol diet. So I actually do, we can go into that a little bit more. There's definitely positives and benefits to different diets and person. Everybody is different. And so I'm open to talking about anything that I can help with other people, depending on what their problems are. Um, and then also in business development, why not share my unique experience because I do have my own design business. I have had my own design business since I graduated in college. I actually started working before I graduated college, doing freelance work and then getting contracts and doing the business contracts and, making sure that I've got the patents all set and, taking care of everything that needed to be taken care of. And so, if anybody is interested in business tips and things like that, I do have a free blueprint. It's called Fire Your 9 to 5. And that is something that was my dream was to fire my 9 to 5 so that I could be more accessible to follow my passions, my pursuits, working from home, living the life laptop the laptop lifestyle, making sure that I could work from anywhere, making sure that I could take the projects on that I wanted to take on, work with clients that I wanted to work with. And so it kind of turned into like more an advising role as well, helping other businesses actually grow and expand. Or I've actually, even though I didn't have a podcast until now, I have actually helped other people set up their podcasts. And so it's kind of ironic, I give a lot and I'm willing to give because the more we give, the more we get. And it's all about community. It's all about a tribe. And so if you have a tribe, or if you don't have a tribe, let me know because I will get you into an amazing group of people. And I do have a community page as well that we can get you into, where everybody is completely supportive, everything's positive. But there's a difference between having a positive mindset. We can't always look at things rosy colored glasses, but we can find the opportunities in them. And so, why not offer that business experience to you? So, if you want that link to the Fire Your 9 to 5, I'm actually going to pull it up right now. And I'll have it in the show notes as well. I do have that available and I'll drop it in the comments. But it's a free blueprint, small steps that you can take, even if you don't know what your business is going to be. If you're just looking for ways to make a little bit of cash on the side, that would be, here we go. This would be something that you can use. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Kate. Thanks for jumping on. So here is the blueprint for your fire your 9 to 5. So if you're just looking for a little side hustle, if you're looking for some extra cash, and that's not related to anything that I promote, this can be related to anything that you want to do. If you want to get rid of your job and make some passive income, or if you just want to make up your own side hustle, I do have coaching clients that I take on. And so that's a possibility as well. But we'll cover that in these upcoming podcasts. But I will call it a day. Hopefully, by the next few episodes, it'll be structured a little bit better. Maybe I'll even get a little fancy intro, but I'm not in a rush. Like I said, we can keep it raw. And so I appreciate each and every one of you so much. And thank you so much for your support throughout the years. If you're new to me, I appreciate you for jumping on and listening to me. Like I said, if you have any questions, I'll have all of my information on there that you can contact me with. My email, my Facebook, my Instagram. You can reach out to me on any of those. And the podcast is called Live Life X Design. So Live Life by Design. So you'll be able to find that once this podcast is shared. And if you could go ahead and subscribe and share this out, I would appreciate it. It's free. It's a way that you can support me. I'm sure that somebody that you know or somebody that watches you definitely could hear, take some notes from this. And so I would appreciate it if you share it out with anybody, to groups that might, be able to acknowledge it, or a friend, or even just take a friend. So Kate said she would like to start her own lactation consultant business after the kids are in school. I think that would be an amazing opportunity, Kate, and we can definitely, download that guide, and I am here to support you. Um, there aren't, especially in the Wisconsin area, there's not that many lactation consultants. So that's a huge niche, where you could actually make some extra dough and also free up your time. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I love that idea. So if anybody else has ideas that they want to share and put in the notes, let me know. Otherwise, I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for everything. And I hope that you do start living life by design. Just make sure that you can, you are the architect of your life. You're the architect of your world and of your reality. So build it the way that you want. So, Kate, we will get you going on that. We will make sure that you are set up for success. I absolutely want to see everybody succeed and start thriving with abundance. I love you all. Good night.